Well, hello everyone. I hope you're doing well and everyone is having a good weekend. I know that still things aren't getting better, but we have to again continue as much as we can with making everything as normal as possible, okay? So I just want to get first to this last passage from the test, the reading test. We have here reading passage 3 and questions 27 to 29 are list of headings. Wow, some of us find that very difficult. I think it could be one of the most difficult type of questions just because you need to really, well, in one way, understand the paragraph, but in another way, we need to try to get the main idea of the paragraph rather than just examples. I'll look at that. I'll try to teach that today. In looking at our guide, list of headings, page right here, list of headings, page 61 from our guide. Well, of course, throughout the text, in some cases, some students to do it faster in a real exam, they could read shorter paragraphs first. I'm not going to do that. You have to look at the whole text anyways. We should always read all the headings first and rephrase them. And then we should try and read the first, middle, and last sentence of each paragraph. Key idea search, right? We need to generalize the main idea. Whatever we think is the main idea, we need to generalize it. Right, and then a process of elimination. I'm going to try to focus on that as well. Eliminate not possibles, recheck possibles. Try to focus on that, okay? Okay. So yes, list of headings, commercial pressures on people in charge. Commercial means business pressure. So people in charge, probably the leaders or the people above. So someone putting pressure, or the leaders putting pressure. 2, mixed views on current changes to museums. So different views about museums nowadays or current changes. 3, interpreting the facts to meet visitor expectations. So understanding the reality so that visitors, or not understanding, but defining the reality in your way so the visitors can feel connected. Something like that. So understanding or defining the fact to match the visitor expectations, to match. 4, the international dimension. So the dimension, okay, aspect, part, sphere. 5, collections of factual evidence. So probably a museum collection of real evidence. 6, fewer differences between public attractions. So not much difference between public attractions, maybe museums or exhibitions. 7, current reviews and suggestions. So now how do we review it and what do we suggest? Okay, so yes, this is about the development the development of museums was this article. Sounds very interesting. Ooh, multiple choice. I find multiple choice to be difficult. The answers confuse people. And in our guide, page 60, so important for us is that they follow a linear pattern, okay? Which you need to read all answers and rephrase, keyword search again. This one I find to be very important, vocabulary association. This means do not just focus on individual words, but rather the meaning of the words. Many times students choose answers just because they have similar words. That's what this means here, okay? We want to find connection between words, not just choose answers for the words. And the process of elimination. Okay? Meaning not A, not B, not C, so D. Okay. I'll only read a few just to see. This one, it goes in order. It says, compared with today's museums, those of the past. So when this is, I'm going to focus on the question only. So it says, compared with today's museums, those of the past. So how were museums in the past different than those nowadays? That's what it's trying to say here. When I get to that, I'll focus on the answers. According to the writer, current trends in the heritage industry. Something where it talks about trends now in the heritage industry. Okay. Let's read one more. The writer says that museums, heritage sites, and theme parks. Something about museums, heritage sites, and theme parks. And what exactly? Okay, I guess I can read. Well, we'll go in order. And then true, false, not given. Page 59, true, false, not given. Again, linear pattern, so that's good. Read 2 questions at a time. If one question is found before the other, the previous must be above, right? Read, rephrase, generalize the ideas, keyword search, vocabulary association, information should be exact, ideas should be exact, right? First, we check for true or false. If false, check for not given. That means, is it false because it's the opposite information? Or is it false because it doesn't really talk about it clearly? If it doesn't talk about it clearly, then it's not given. Okay, so 37. Consumers prefer theme parks which avoid serious issues. So theme parks, I like Disneyland, Galaxyland here. Avoid serious issues. So that's what consumers or customers prefer. 38. More people visit museums than theme parks? I can tell you something. It also says this in our guide. Be careful with comparatives, usually not given. See here, more people visit museums and theme parks. So comparing them, probably, I'm going to say it's not given already, but I'm just guessing. The boundaries of Leiden have changed little since the 17th century. Leiden is a place, must be maybe a museum or something. The boundaries. means the borders, the area, the complete area. And 40, museums can give a false impression, false idea of how life used to be. I think that's true. Sometimes we can guess before we start. Okay, so we're going to start here. What's going on here? It looks like this. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, so let's begin. So we have to read or scan the whole paragraph, remember, so we can get the first one, okay? Relics, things from the past. Evident and artifacts. Ipso facto. Real. Very interesting word. Okay, museums used to look, and some still do, much like storage rooms of objects packed together in showcases. Good for scholars who wanted to study difference in design, but not the ordinary visitor. The information accompanying the objects often made little sense to the lay visitor. So I find that this paragraph is talking mainly about, well, what museums used to look like and still do. Good for scholars. It says the information made little sense to the lay visitor. It wasn't for the visitors. When museum was the exclusive domain of the scientific researcher. I find that it's talking how museums used to be mainly for science. Let's see if we have a heading that is about that. Well, commercial pressures, no. Not current changes. It's not talking about the changes. It's not talking about visitor expectations, because it says it was for science, not international. This one here maybe, because it says it used to be for real, for science, factual. Fewer differences between current reviews. So it's looking to me like it's just 5. But we don't have to make a choice yet. For the time being, though, I will put 5 here. Again, the reason is because it says museums used to be for science. It says storage rooms of objects packed in for science. So I'm thinking that one could be it. Compared with today's museums, those of the past, could be that one. It says in the past used to be for science. Did not present history? No. Were not primarily intended for the public. There's the answer for sure. Because it says here that museums, like we just read, were for science only, for scholars, not for the lay visitor, not for people. So we're not for the public. Yeah. Not organized, and you can see here. Okay, so 31 is B. Nothing there. Okay, let's go to paragraph B. So in recently, current now. So it says have altered the way it should be presented now. Experience is the key. The more exciting, the better. Okay, some examples. So I think this is an important sentence. Remember, we should look at the beginning sentence, the middle. We're going to read a little bit more. The trend. Heritage sites. So here we're talking now about heritage sites. Okay. We will soon provide virtual reality. Wow. Which will present visitors with a vivid image. Such developments have been criticized. So it says about changing museums to make it look more realistic. So we can see here virtual experiences. Heritage sites reenactment of historical events. Reenactment means putting like a performance about it, which will present visitors with vivid image of the period of their choice. So it says that this has been criticized. But it says that that's what the public wants. So I remember one of them talking about that. Not commercial pressures, mixed views on current changes to museums? Maybe. Yeah. Interpreting the facts to meet visitor expectations? Also maybe, because it says they're changing. Not that one, not view difference between no current reviews, not reviews and suggestions, no. So mixed views on current changes to museums or interpreting the facts to meet visitor expectations. That one is a little bit just looking at it here, let me see a little more. So it says attitudes towards history and the way it should be presented have altered. And then here it says such developments have been criticized as intolerable vulgarization, like horrible. This is vulgar, it's terrible. But the public does not share. I see here mixed views. But I also have interpreting the facts. Sometimes it could be a different later on we can see clearer. So for right now, I'm not going to choose an answer. I'm going to wait. I think it sounds to me like it could be 2 or 3, but we'll see. Let's look down here. According to the current trends in the heritage industry. Okay, so it talked about the heritage industry, heritage sites. Emphasize personal involvement. Maybe I did see something about rely on computer, reflect minority tastes. Going back here, it says no one can predict where the process will end. On so-called during historical events and computers. Good examples. These are examples. It doesn't say it started there. Definitely not B and definitely not C. So, because this is for the future. Minority tastes? I don't think so. I think it's majority. So it's got to be A here. Okay. 1 second. Because in here we have, it does talk about getting the public involved in here. As in providing for them a reenactment and and even further down here we can see it says in here, where is it? Film and television. Where's the best part here? Well, it just talks about increasing, making it more exciting and better for the people. Okay? Experience is the key here. All right. Just looking at this one here with experience. Okay, let's choose here for this one. Let's put that to be for number, which one is it? 32. Let's put it there to be the key, as experience means personal involvement. Having your personal experience. Up there, 31. Okay, let's see C here. In the related development, okay. Museum and heritage sites on the one hand, and theme parks is gradually evaporating. So the distinction between museum and heritage sites on the one hand and theme parks. Okay, so that's kind of key. It's saying that everything is becoming similar. The sharp distinction between museum, heritage sites, and theme parks is gradually evaporating, changing. So they help each other. Theme parks moving towards authenticity. In zoos, animals are no longer kept in cages. So this particular trend in zoos, it says, is very, very common. So moving towards more authenticity and research-based presentations. So let's look up here. So commercial pressures, no. Mixed views, no. Interpreting the facts, no. Directional, no. No. Fewer different. Well, definitely 6 here. It says fewer differences between public attractions. And that was the key here. It says public attractions such as museum, heritage sites, and theme parks, the differences are changing or going away, disappearing. So I'm sure about that one. For number 27. Oh, look at this. I made a big mistake here. Sorry, everybody. I always saw that A is V here. I didn't even see it. Okay. Too funny. So I definitely was right about that one at least. So that one's gone. So we're actually here in 28 is, I don't know why I put that one as A. Okay. Okay. Not focused here, and that's the main thing that can make you lose marks. But okay, I did see it. Okay, everyone, you can laugh at this video after. So that one for sure. Paragraph C is 6. Fewer differences between public attractions. Okay, I'm still not sure about 27. Like I said, I'm going to put 2. I think it's 2. I'm just going to put it there for now. Oops. I think it's 2 because it's mixed views, but I'm not sure. It could be 3. What about museums, heritage, and theme parks? Often work, try to preserve. Definitely D again. This one here is D. Why? Let's see. 33. Are less easy to distinguish means tell apart. Look different. But it says they're less easy to distinguish. So you can't really see the differences. And that's the same thing like here. It says the distinction, distinguish comes from there, is disappearing, evaporating. Okay? So 33 and 27 really from there as well. Is there anything else? Preparing. The writer says that in preparing exhibits for museums, experts, so preparing exhibits, who didn't talk about that. Anything down here? Didn't read about that either. So let's go to paragraph D. Okay, so theme parks are undergoing. Present more serious social and move away from fantasy. Operate in a competitive purpose to make choice. Mm-hmm. So, heritage and museum experts do not have to invent stories. So, where visitors make choices in how where to spend their free time, heritage and museum experts do not have stories to recreate. Very key here. So, it's sounding like visitors play an important role. They have expectations. I remember that one. However, exhibits must be both based on artifacts and facts, as we know. Engaged in the art of interpreting history are thus in difficult position, as they must steer a narrow course between the demands and attractiveness, especially given. So here it's saying that the theme parks, okay, especially it's talking about heritage sites, theme parks. Says they must show the evidence, but they also must make it attractive, so it's difficult. I think that one's definitely sounding like 3. See? Well, I guess we should put it in the way that it says here. Yeah, we should do it in Roman numerals. That's important, everyone. So it says they have to show the visitors what they expect or want. That's what it said in that paragraph as the key. It says visitors make choices on how to spend their free time. So the professionals involved, they must make the evidence clear, but also make it attractive. So the visitors play a role there. Okay. Experts. Okay, so talked about that one, yes. Have to do a certain amount of language? No, should be free. Commercial constraints, business. I can see here D is the answer. Have to balance conflicting priorities. So they have to balance 2 main goals. What are those main goals? Well, as it says here, they must provide evidence and they have to make it attractive. And it also says here they must steer a narrow course. They have to be very careful to balance the evidence and the attractiveness. Okay? 34. All right. This one was more, well, that's 34 and also 29. Okay, paragraph E, or let's remember here. Consumers prefer theme parks which avoid serious issues. I think I read something about that. Looks like it's the opposite. It said here, it says as they try to present more serious social and cultural issues and move away from fantasy. And then this development is a response to market forces. Market forces. People want this. The market. What do people want? So, looks like 37. No, they want serious issues. So 37 has to be false. From over here. Okay. And now we should look at 38 more people visit museums and theme parks. The boundaries on Layton have changed. Don't see that one or this one. So let's continue to E. It could be claimed that in order to make everything in heritage more real, historical, talking about change in history here says accuracy must be increasingly altered, changed. So it's also telling us here swallowed air there. Sorry. Such presentations tell us more about contemporary perceptions of the world than about our ancestors. So it's saying that they have to change history to make it more presentable for people now. That's what it's saying. Let's see our headings. Not the international current reviews. Looks like number 1. And why is that? Why number 1? Or interpreting the facts to meet visitor expectations. Actually, this one sounds more like 3. Changing my mind here. Something here, it talks about interpreting the facts. So actually, yeah, I'm nothing about commercial pressures here. Okay, no, yes. Yeah, I can see here. So this one here is not really talking about interpreting the facts. It's talking about the pressure. It says are thus in a difficult position. So I'm changing my mind for this one. This one, I believe, is 129. So again, it's 1 because... Yeah, I didn't explain that clearly. The people in charge, they feel the pressure to change history. This is where I got confused. So number 1 says just pressure to change, to make it attractive, even though it may not be true. while paragraph E is telling us that they are interpreting the facts. Okay? So they're very close, those two. Again, D is telling us that they feel pressure to change, and E is telling us that they do change it right over here to make it more real. Okay? So that's 30 right here. All right. Now, look at 35. The writer suggests some museum exhibits fail to match expectations. Imagination. So it sounds to me, if I see here, such presentations tell us more about contemporary. So these presentations about the museums now, they tell us about contemporary views. So what we think now instead of the past. That one sounds to me like C. Reveal more about present beliefs, contemporary perceptions, than about the past. Okay? Again, from that one was 35. So here, 35 as well. Okay. And nothing here about the boundaries or more people. I'm still thinking that one could be not given. But let's read ahead. Human bias, prediction history. So history doesn't survive exactly how it is, of course. Over time it breaks down. Well, things. Longer lifespan than dwellings of people. Here's Leiden. So it says that Leiden before was 5 times smaller. It says Leiden, the same place, in a town like Leiden, the same number of inhabitants today. So same number of inhabitants as before, but it says people lived within the walled town and area more than 5 times smaller than modern Leiden. So before it was smaller. So they have changed little. That's false because they have increased by 5 times. It says they increase. Nowadays, it's 5 times bigger. That's a lot bigger, not little. This one here, we're going to say is not given. So why 39, 38? So again, 39 is here. It says modern Leiden is 5 times, Leiden before was 5 times smaller than modern Leiden. So modern Leiden is 5 times larger, which means it has changed a lot, okay? So that was false. And then between here and here, it didn't talk about more people visit. It didn't just talk about how many people visit museums and theme parks. It didn't talk about it. So not given. Museums can give us a false impression. Let's read ahead. Museums. Good. Most of these houses, several families live together. Circumstances beyond our yet museums, fine period rooms. So it's saying here that people lived in the past, they lived together in circumstances beyond our imagination. So we can't imagine it. It's beyond us. Yet museums, fine period rooms, give only an image of the lifestyle of the upper class of the era. So they only give us a little image. And then further ahead it says, this notion is induced by the bias in its representation in museums and heritage centers. A bias means what they think. And usually that means it's not the correct one. So false impression is like bias. So that's true. So they give us the wrong idea of how life used to be. And it's saying here that they're giving us the wrong idea of what life was like in Leiden. It's totally different. Okay? And the passage ends by noting that our view of history is biased. Okay, going back to the bias. Because we failed to use our imagination? No. Only very durable. Maybe. No. So it looks like it's B. Why? It doesn't say about us using our imagination. It mentions it. Very good point here. Look what it says about imagination. Live together in circumstances beyond our imagination. This means that we can't understand it or imagine it. But it doesn't mean we failed to use our imagination. It means we just can't get there. And then ignore things that displease us. It didn't talk about making us unhappy. It does talk about the local area, but in what way? It says, in a town like Leiden. Oh, actually, wait a minute. Here it is. So not everything from history survives the historical process. Castles, palaces, and cathedrals have a longer lifespan than the dwellings of the ordinary people. And that's what it says here in B. Very durable objects like castles, right? Castles and palaces, they are durable. They are strong, so they survive. But the other things don't. So B for 36. Okay, well, even I got confused in that one a little bit, but I think I sorted it out. So yes, 2 right, 6 right, fewer differences. Oh yeah, 28, paragraph C, yeah, right. Let me double check. Right, yes. D1. Let me double check that one. Right, and here it talked about the pressure they feel to provide real evidence and make it attractive. And here it talked about changing, so 3. Right, okay. And then B, right. Good, and last page. Okay, everyone. I hope that simplified the answers for you. Reading can be tough, but we really need to understand the answers, okay, everyone? Why is the answer this? Even I can get confused if I'm not focused. So I can imagine if you don't read very carefully or understand some words, it can be difficult. So please try to review this and understand it as much as possible. And if you have any questions, please ask. I'm always happy to get questions. So now we're ready for our next reading. Yes, the next test. Okay? I will be posting that one shortly. Okay, everyone. That's it for now, and hope everyone is doing good. Bye for now.